Welcome to Star Expose. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. When you've lived much of your life in front of cameras, you start to think you've seen everything. Every kind of headline, every kind of rumor, every kind of crisis. But even the strongest people learn that life doesn't always wait for perfect lighting or a commercial break. For Kelly Ripa, it all began with a phone call. Not the kind she takes during her busy mornings or from a producer trying to rearrange the next live segment. This one was different. This one made her heart freeze. Mark had been on his way back from a charity event, smiling, charming as ever, waving to a few fans. But that night, the road was slick, the rain relentless. A delivery truck lost control on a muddy stretch, and in an instant, everything changed. Red lights, the scream of twisting metal, and then silence. When Kelly arrived at the hospital, her world tilted. She found herself staring at him through a blur of tubes and monitors. The man who once filled their home with laughter now lay still, a body fighting its own battle. The doctors worked quickly, their voices measured, the words critical but stable echoing like a fragile promise. For the first time in decades, the woman who could make millions laugh every morning couldn't find a single word. She just sat there, fingers intertwined with his, counting every mechanical breath the machine took for him. That rhythm, steady, cold, almost musical, became her only sense of time. The children came in quiet rotations, brave smiles covering fear. Friends dropped off food, ran errands, kept her life from unraveling completely. But home didn't feel like home anymore. Everywhere she looked, she felt his absence, the missing laughter, the empty space beside her at night. Still, Kelly did what she'd always done best. She held things together. She knew the nurses' names within days, learned the sound of every alarm and monitor beep, became fluent in the language of hospital corridors. She mastered her pain the same way she mastered her live show, with timing, grace, and just enough humor to keep from breaking. And yet, every morning, when the studio lights came on, something inside her hesitated. The world expected Kelly the performer, the woman who made the awkward funny and the ordinary extraordinary. But this time, her heart was somewhere else. She wanted to be Kelly the wife, Kelly the mother, Kelly the woman who sat beside a hospital bed whispering, "Don't you dare give up." Mark's condition eventually improved enough to move him to a private room. Everyone celebrated. The air smelled less like antiseptic, the machines were quieter, and the beeping slowed into something almost peaceful. But recovery has its own kind of cruelty. Gone were the immediate rush and adrenaline of emergency. What replaced them was exhaustion, deep, bone-heavy fatigue, and endless uncertainty. Mark tried to smile through the pain, cracking jokes between therapy sessions, pretending to be his old self. But even the smallest movement was a mountain. And Kelly, standing quietly in the corner, felt her heart tighten every time he winced. She wanted to help him, to fix him, to take his pain into herself. But all she could do was hold his hand and hope he felt her strength. Meanwhile, the outside world kept spinning. Producers called, sponsors emailed. Everyone wanted to know when America's favorite couple would return to the screen. Her management offered to pre-record segments from the hospital. "Your audience misses you, Kelly. We can show how strong you both are. Maybe even have Mark make a surprise appearance." The words stung. It was as if her real life had become just another episode, another plot line for the November sweeps. But Mark wasn't a prop in her story. He was her
she
story.
hung up. No explanation, no farewell, just quiet rebellion. Then, sitting by that window, overlooking the city lights, she opened her laptop. Her fingers trembled, not from fear, but from the clarity of knowing exactly what she needed to say. And she wrote, "Hello, everyone. Many of you already know that my husband Mark was in a serious accident. I've tried to keep things normal for as long as I could, but I can't pretend right now. I'm not just a host. I'm a wife watching the person I love fight to heal, and I need to be here for him. So I'm stepping away from the show for now. Thank you for your love, your prayers, and your patience. We'll see you again soon." It was simple, honest, human. And within hours, the internet, that noisy, unpredictable world, went quiet. The flood of support was overwhelming. Fans shared stories of their own losses, their own love, their own strength. Kelly's vulnerability reminded people that even the people who make us laugh every day need time to heal. Weeks passed. Mark's strength slowly returned. Each day, his voice grew steadier, his laughter a little louder. Physical therapy was tough, but the man who once made a career out of charm now made a mission out of recovery. And through it all, Kelly stayed by his side, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, always holding on. When she finally did return to television, her smile carried something different. It wasn't just polished and practiced anymore. It was layered with gratitude, humor, and the unmistakable glow of a woman who had looked fear in the face and survived. And that's when the old Kelly reemerged, playful, unpredictable, gloriously herself. During one of her first episodes back, she dove straight into what she called her favorite subject, bras. Yes, bras. Only Kelly could turn something so ordinary into a full-blown comedy routine that had both the crew and her husband blushing. She laughed. "Since my bras never get a proper workout, I don't even bother wearing them to the gym. Honestly, they're just here to hold my microphone, nothing else." The audience roared. Mark hid his face in his hands, trying not to laugh, and failing miserably. Then, with perfect comic timing, he chimed in, "I've always liked the ones with the snaps in the front." The studio exploded in laughter. Kelly looked at him, eyes wide with mock shock, and shot back, "Well, I'll be. This man knows his way around a bra." Even the camera operator couldn't hold steady. Then, like only Kelly can, she spun the moment into an impromptu history lesson. She said, "Did you know bras are older than you think? I don't just mean mine, though honestly, mine might be ancient. I'm talking medieval Austria. They had what they called breast sacks. Yes, really. So if you ever feel weird about your bra, just remember some medieval woman was already complaining about hers centuries ago." It was classic Kelly. Irreverent, bold, and utterly hilarious. She had turned something intimate into a shared moment of laughter, the kind that makes everyone feel a little more human. And that's her magic. She doesn't hide behind a script or pretend to be flawless. She lets the audience see her, the woman who can be outrageous one minute and heartbreakingly vulnerable the next. Even Mark, now fully recovered, has learned that life with Kelly is never dull. She teases him, he teases back, they argue, they laugh, they flirt, and somehow it all plays out in front of millions of people who can't help but adore them. Through it all, one truth shines brighter than any studio light: their love. Not the picture-perfect movie script kind of love, but the real, resilient kind. The kind that survives car accidents, hospitals, exhaustion, and even on-air jokes about bras. Because behind the glamour, the laughter, and the cameras, there's still that woman who sat beside a hospital bed counting the rhythm of her husband's breath. And there's still that man who fought his way back, step by painful step, just to hold her hand again. So when Kelly laughs now, that big, infectious laugh that fills the studio, it carries more weight than ever before. It's not just humor. It's survival. It's gratitude. It's love. And maybe that's why people keep watching. Because in a world full of polished perfection, Kelly Ripa reminds us that real life, with all its pain, its chaos, and its laughter, is still the most beautiful show of all. Thanks for watching Star Expose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.